Well, it's the weekend here at Michigan Storm Chasers, but the weather does not slow down for the weekend. We're tracking an active pattern continuing throughout the Great Lakes, but I also want to put some focus today in the deep south where we have a moderate risk in place. I was hoping to do a January outlook video today, but we're going to push that back to Monday just because A, it's really busy here in Michigan, but also B, we're looking at a couple of our staff members who are out with their families today. So kind of short staff. So we're going to push that back a couple of days here to prepare and get a good video out for you guys. So do prepare for your January outlook coming Monday. And today's video is going to focus on some increased rain potential, perhaps a thunderstorm possible during the day on Sunday. And I also want to focus on the deep south as well. Let's go ahead and dive in. Starting with the deep south. I know I'm not going to spend too much time in here. I know this is a Michigan-based channel, but we always like to give alerts out to people who may have their friends and family in the path of these dangerous situations, and today is no exception. There is a level 4 out of a scale of 5 risk today for Mississippi and Louisiana, parts of Arkansas there, as well as eastern central Texas in red. That is your level 4 moderate risk. Around that moderate risk, we have that orange enhanced risk that extends over into Alabama and then back again into eastern central Texas. And then around that's a slight risk, the yellow, and then around that's a dark green and marginal. That's the lowest risk. So if you live, especially in, or know people who do live in this orange or red risk from Vicksburg, Jackson, Meridian, Greenwood, Starkville, Macomb, Hattiesburg, you guys need to be on alert and have multiple ways to receive warnings today, because today is a day you do not want to mess around with. The main risk today is a tornado driven moderate risk, and that hatching in the yellow and red areas indicate that storms, or should I say tornadoes, could be strong in nature, and today they could be long track as well. So anywhere within that yellow, anywhere with honestly within that color area, green, red, or should I say green, brown, yellow, and red, you'd be alert for tornadoes. But especially in that yellow and red area, you guys have the highest risk for those strong tornadoes and multiple tornadoes as well that could be long tracked in nature. Aside from that, there is a 45% wind risk that's also hatched there across the general same area. Again, that's for wind gusts that are over, I believe, 70 miles per hour. So significant wind gusts there as well. It is not a risk you want to take lightly down there. If you happen to live or know people who are down there living or vacationing, perhaps, please get them aware of the threat today. This is your wind outlook. Then the hail is much less, but still a threat there across the region, just not as high as a concern as wind or tornadoes is today. So overall, please get people aware if you happen to know people down there. We cannot stress that enough. Today is a dangerous day. And kind of just going through the evolution of things. You want some of this video, feel free to send them. The radar down there today, we're going to be looking at some multiple storms, multiple rounds as well. Initial round here with some potential supercells out ahead of the main line here across Mississippi, as that main line forms back here in Louisiana. This main line likely be the main event here, but these supercells could be producing tornadoes out ahead of that line as it moves east northeastward. As we get closer to the 4 o'clock in the afternoon time frame, that'll push into Louisiana there, Mississippi as well, and that will carry a potential for all hazards being possible. So any one of these cells out ahead of this could produce tornadoes, but also within this main line, we could see what we call QLCS tornadoes, where like embedded supercells may spit up some tornadoes as well. So multiple rounds, definitely a possibility today for Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, parts of Arkansas, and Tennessee as well. So go ahead and move that through the time frames. We'll continue close to midnight. This is midnight right here in Eastern time, and that line's still cranking through Alabama. So it could be a late night threat there for Alabama, perhaps Tennessee, and maybe even Georgia as well, but it should be weakening as it gets to Georgia. So that is your deep south risk today. I wanted to get that out of the way. And again, I know this is a Michigan-based channel, but we always like to give the heads up to people who live or happen to know people who live in these affected areas. Now let's go ahead and put some focus here back on Michigan, where we have some expected rainfall, perhaps a thunderstorm as well in the forecast for us. So looking at today, we're looking at rain in northern lower Michigan and the UP. They'll be moving out as we speak around the morning time frame, early afternoon time frames. Excuse me. And then we're going to dry out for the day. It's going to be nice and warm, by winter standards, warm, especially in southern Michigan, where we're touching 60 degrees in some spots. Definitely a possibility. But attention then turns overnight tonight into the early morning hours of Sunday. We have another round of rain moving up. This is at 2 in the morning here, moving up into the state, reaches the state likely by around sunrise, 5, 6, 7 a.m. or so. That will move northeast through the state. And as it does so, it will intensify during the afternoon hours. So some heavier rain, moderate to heavier rain, definitely a possibility here, especially for southeast Michigan, where we could see upwards of 2 inches of rain in some spots. So go ahead and pull our map up. Actually, I don't have a map yet. I just actually made it before I made this video, so I don't actually have it in here, but I will post it on Facebook here as soon as we have that readily available. So go ahead and check our Facebook. By the time the video is out, it'll likely be posted. But I do a rainfall map up there for you guys. 2 inches or so expected in southeast Michigan. And then upwards, further north you go, we're going to be looking at less and less. We'll go ahead and throw over the precipitation accumulation overlay here. This is amount of rain in inches. So you can see this area down here in southeast Michigan, definitely going to get the highest amounts here from the thumb all the way back here toward Hillsdale into Adrian, Monroe, Detroit Metro. Those areas could definitely get over or close to 2 inches of rain. Further to the west, though, about an inch or so in these yellow areas up to the Tri-Cities by Alpena, back toward Kalamazoo. Then further north here, unfortunately, you guys are going to, well, maybe perhaps fortunately, if you have snow on the ground, you want snow up there. But for the drought conditions that we do have up there is going to be probably close about a tenth or perhaps a quarter of an inch at most of rain. Now, taking this back here to the simulated radar here, we do have some concern for areas to our south here. We have a clear slot that develops here in Ohio roughly around the mid-afternoon time frame that could allow some instability to build for our friends down there in Ohio. And as such, there is a marginal risk of severe weather tomorrow for parts of Ohio. But we are going to look at a few instances. Some models do indicate that some surface, or should I say some elevated instability, does make it up into Michigan during the daytime on Sunday. Right about here, Sunday afternoon, we could get a rumble of thunder here for like Lenawee, Monroe, Wayne, Washtenaw counties, Detroit metro areas, really in far southeastern Michigan. We could be looking at a rumble of thunder during the afternoon, the heaviest of rain. Any severe threat will be south of us. We're not expecting anything severe here, but want to get you guys up to date with that, as we could see a rumble of thunder, definitely a possibility in any heavier bands of rain that do develop. Overall, there's really no flooding risk today. Or should I say, no flooding risk on Sunday with this expected rainfall, and rainfall should be over by the time we get to Monday morning. So it's just going to be mainly a kind of like a washout day tomorrow, really, for southern and central parts of Michigan, perhaps even northern parts of Michigan as well. It'll just be more of a lighter rain up there, but it's going to be kind of rainy all day across the state, but heaviest definitely in south and east portions. With that being said, I will hop off here by giving a shout out to our sponsor today, Lifestyle Exteriors, 989-854-3055. They do roofing, siding, gutter, window, shutter stuff, all exterior needs for your home. Give them a call, and thank you to Lifestyle for doing or being a sponsor of our video. Again, they're based out of the Lansing as well as Traverse City areas. And thank you to Lifestyle Exteriors for helping us keep our operational costs going. With that being said, I'm going to pop out of here and stay tuned for our video Monday. We'll do a January outlook on how that is looking. And I think winter lovers are going to be in for a treat. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys Monday.